back to another episode of the Soup Bowl. I am your host, Renee Murdoch, and I am so happy that you are here today, that you're listening, that you're liking, that you're sharing, and that you are doing life with me, which is most importantly. So I just thank you for just joining me today. We know that when we get in the Soup Bowl, what is bound to happen? You say it. Yes, life gets messy when you get in the Soup Bowl. But that's just all about how life works. So let me make a disclaimer very quickly. You might hear some noise going on in the background, right? Because there's things happening over here that I was like, I am not going to stop doing this podcast because of this. I'm going to continue on to the point where someone, not saying any names, was trying to throw me out of my studio. What's going on here? The tariffs have not came into place yet, so stop playing, okay? No. It's like you talk, like I pay rent here. What are we talking about here? I have the right to be here at this time. So no, I am not leaving my space, okay? Like they was just trying to like throw me outside. Like what's that about, okay? But anyway, again, I'm not saying any names, right? Like it's the man. It's the man that makes these demands, but it's not happening. But anyway, so like I said, life gets messy when you get in the Super Bowl. I don't know what we're going to be talking about at certain times. I don't know what we're going to be chatting about, chopping it up, or whatever the case may be. But we are here. We are here together, and we're here doing life together. And one thing I like to say, my daughter, she tends to, I guess get a little agitated with me at times, when she's maybe asking questions or making, whatever statements or whatever. And then based upon my response, right, she tends to, like, why do you make everything a lesson? Well, ma'am, sorry to tell you this. It's going to be a stinger here. It's going to be a stinger. But life is a lesson. Life is a lesson, right? It's a lesson. And if we're not taking heed of what we should be learning, right, and taking in that information and applying that information, and then we are, bound to find ourselves in places and spaces that we should not be in, right? And so it's just kind of like going back over, I got to go through this test again. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. So anyway, but I'm just saying, like, when you do life right, it will humble you. It will humble you. Because why will it humble you? Because you got to come back around and say, yeah, I didn't get that right. Okay, I messed up there. Or I apologize. Or I didn't, look at that correct. Well, that's where I was at before, but now I'm somewhere different. So I think I'd like to say that as well. Like, whatever I'm saying today is my truth today, right? Like I might see something differently, on tomorrow or next year. So my view might be a little bit different, right? And so it's okay to say, yeah, I did say that. But now I'm thinking this is what it is, right? So I had to tell my bestie this morning that I was wrong. Yes, I did. I said it. I was wrong. I was all the way wrong, right? So I had to say to my bestie, hey, I was wrong. And you really did come through. Great job. Look, I did not know. I did not know, right, that you were capable of doing this. Because in the time past, right, there has been situations and circumstances where you didn't finish your thing. Right? Or you finished it and it was not an excellence. And then we had to go back and do this thing again. And so I literally was, very, looking sideways, like what they doing over there, and so I just wished them all the best. And in my mind, I was prepared to put out a little bit more, monetary things, money, in reference to this project that he went on. And so I have to say that he did a superb job. He did a superb job. I wish I could show you all a picture, but he did a really good job. And so, you know, I think before, maybe last year, I might have mentioned some things about, you know, a garden or whatever. And so we purchased a part of this. It was like our land, but it wasn't our land. And so anyway, we purchased it or whatever. And over time, so he's just like, I wouldn't want to do something with it or whatever. And so half of it, right, we made a garden out of it. And so, and then this year was like, okay, let's do it again. And then they wanted to build like this enclosing, right, because there's deers and other type things that like want to get in there, you know, little bunny rabbits, foxes, and all these types of things. And so we wanted to make sure we protected the crops, right? Because even with Muscle out there, he can only go so far. And so, again, we wanted to make sure we protected it. And so I'm like, yeah, you should get a fence, right? We should get a fence around it, and not no chicken wire fence, right? It's not even allowed, right? And so, but anyway, so he wanted to build it himself and get one of his, you know, friends to help him out with it. And I was just kind of like, you're handy. You're very handy. But I haven't seen you handy in this way before. Like, I've seen you do some stuff, like, you know, inside the house and this and that. I'm like, oh, okay, got me a little handy person here. Don't have no rhythm, but he handy though. You know, so, you know, you can't have it all. We can't have it all, ladies, you know, so. But this is what I got, right? So I was just like, well, he's very handy. And so his uncles, right, there's like 3 of his uncles that are very good, like, you know, carpentry wise or whatever. Built some things for us when we were living in Georgia. But I never seen him. I've never seen him in this form before. And so I was very surprised. Not only was it started, but it was finished. And finished with excellence. It was finished with excellence. It really was. And so I'm just super proud of him. So what does this say, right? Like, what does this say about people, right? These people, these onlookers or whatever, that you're doing something that they quite don't understand, don't quite get, and maybe even think that you're not even capable of doing this thing, right? But you see it, you know that it's going to be profitable. You know that it's necessary for you to do this thing, to build this thing, to start this thing. But you have the onlookers. You have the onlookers who's kind of like, yeah, I don't think so. I don't think you should be doing that. I don't think that that's going to turn out right. I don't think that you got the right materials. I don't think you deploy the right people to help you out. I don't think you got the right resources. How are you going to finish that? Because remember, in the past, you've done da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Remember when? You see, you got those people that's around you that's always remembering, right, your mistakes, that's always remembering your past, that's always trying to take you back to your past, always trying to remind you of the person that you used to be, or the immature person that you used to be. Come on now, because we all used to be immature and somewhere along in our lives. And we're still, right, being matured in some areas. So just because you're a certain age does not mean that you're mature. Just because you're a certain age does not mean that you're mature. Let me say that again. Because there are things that we need to grow in. We do not have it all together. We have not all arrived. That's the thing right there. We have not all arrived and will not arrive until the day that we leave this earth. So you're always going to have those people over there on the sideline rather than getting in with you, right? Toiling up the ground, joining in on the adventure, but they over there on looking to see what you're going to do, how you're going to move, if you're going to make it or not. So if you don't make it, they could be like, yeah, I told you so. See, that's why I didn't get involved. Or they can be on the sideline saying, oh, yeah, they did complete that. Man, how can I be a part of that? How could I be a part of that? Because I was an onlooker, right? I was an onlooker. And in my onlooking, I was like, well, yeah, go ahead and do you, because I don't. You and your friend tend to not complete things. So, I was literally just being honest about the whole situation, right? But when you look at it from another lens, was I being supportive? Other than, yeah, you just go ahead and do that. Go ahead and spend the money, whatever. I support you by that way. And every time I would come home, I'll look and see what they're doing and what progress they have made. And I said, okay. They showed up. They showed up today. Okay, I see some progress going on today. But you have to know for yourself that what you're building, what you're doing, what you're aspiring to do, that this is what you need to do for you. This is what you need to do for you in the moment, and this is what you need to do for others. So I was telling someone the other day, when you really think about it, our lives is really not ours. It's really not about us. And so if what I'm doing is going to be profitable for someone else, I need to continue on in that, no matter what someone else says. No matter what. Because what he built is profitable for others within our community and even for ourselves. It's going to be profitable when we leave from this place and someone else takes up these grounds. We have to be able to look beyond where we're at and be able to put the onlookers right and leave them right where they're at, looking on, looking from the sidelines, looking from their place of judgment, their place of disbelief, their place of not being encouraging. Let them stay over there and be onlookers. And you continue on in what you're supposed to be doing. So if you have that dream that you have written down in that notebook that keeps coming across in your mind, in your visions, you see it wherever you go, I encourage you to start. I encourage you to go. I encourage you to keep going if you have already started. And don't worry about the onlookers, because you're always going to have them. They're not going anywhere, people. They're not. And it will even be the loved ones, the ones that is closer to you, the ones that you think that should be cheering you on. And I had to apologize, because I'm always saying to him, look how you support me. Right? I want him to be conscious of how you're supporting me in the things that I believe that the Lord has placed in my heart to do. And now here it is, something that was placed in his heart to do, and I wasn't being encouraging. Towards the end I was, but I wasn't in the beginning. Right? What I'm saying, I wasn't in the midpoint, because in the beginning I'm like, yeah, that's a good idea. That is necessary. We do need that. And then when it came back with who was going to do it, that's when the common man came into play. But I want you to know and understand that you have to keep going. Because me saying what I said to him did not, keep him from doing what he thought was necessary. Because he had a plan, he had a vision, and he wanted to get this done. And he might even had, we would have to ask him himself, but he might even have said, I'm going to prove her wrong. I'm not going to pay her no mind, because she's going to benefit from this. And then when she does, then I won't be able to say such. Because he never lets anything die. Just let it be known, he never lets anything die. Okay? He doesn't. I love him and hate him all at the same time because of that. So I definitely had to make sure that I apologized because I would not have heard the end of it. But it's all in it's all in love. But we have to think about if we're going to be impactful, because that's what we're supposed to be doing, making an impact. And if we're going to be doing that, then we have to be able to, leave people where they are, right? And not try to drag them and pull them along with what we're supposed to be doing. Leave them where they are, and you continue on, and they'll either get up and catch up, or they'll stay where they're at. So I had to get up and catch up. I was like, oh my God, he started running again. He's not racing. I mean, he's not resting anymore. I gotta get out there, right? And so I caught up, and I'm on this, right? I'm on this, right? So I just thought that was just so, important, especially in the days and times at which we're in that, whether we look at things, in a natural sense, in a spiritual sense, wherever that we are at, knowing that you must have vision for your own life. No one is going to give you vision for your own life that's going to be peaceable, that's going to be profitable, that's going to validate, you in this. You're going to have to know for yourself. And it's good to hear the encouraging words. It's good to hear, how great you are, because you need those people around you too. You need for people to remind you of who you are. But see, that's the thing is, they're not telling you who you are. They're reminding you of who you are. You must know who you are. Because if not, then people will tell you who you are and you will believe that thing. Other than believing that that's not who you are, but you're becoming who you are. You must know this. Because if you don't know it, then someone else will come along and tell you. Then you'll be living a life that is not truthful. You will be living a lie. Come on, raise your hand. I'll raise mine first. If you've been living a lie. Right? I was living a life that was not truthful. I was not being honest with myself. I was not being honest with the people that were around me. I was not being honest in my relationships. Because I was being who they said that I was and not who I am. I'm not covering up my greatness for you any longer. I'm not closing my mouth because you don't like to hear what I have to say or you don't even like the sound of my voice. I am not shrinking back because you're jealous or you don't understand that how I'm walking or whatever, and so you don't get it, and so now you're coveting this what I'm doing, or you're being jealous of what I'm doing. I'm no longer shrinking back to make you look great, because you're great where you are and I'm great where I am, and so I don't have to deny who I am so you can understand who you are. Come on now. You must know who you are if you are going to live a life that is fulfilling. You must know who you are if you're going to be out here leading people. That's why I keep saying it over and over again. The main thing is we must lead our lives first. And for you to be able to do that, or you're on this journey, you must know who you are. You must discover who you are. You are still becoming. We're always becoming. We should always be learning. We should always be growing. And that's why I said, there are things that we are still immature in our lives. I don't care if you're still on this earth and you're 80 years old. There are some things in which you are still immature in. And how do we become mature in those things? We become mature in those things based upon what? Learning and growing. And being honest with ourselves. So we got this construction thing going on over here. Okay. We're going to keep this rolling. Because I want you to get this, and I want you to understand that if you don't know who you are, then you'll be in a place of stagnation. You will not grow. You're wondering why things are happening to people that are around you, or people that you see, and you're like, when is my time coming? When am I gonna, I don't know, when is your time coming? You tell me, when is your time coming? It's not coming until you go. I'm gonna go ahead and give myself a clap for that one. It's not coming until you go. It's not happening. You must do something. You have to do something. You just can't sit there. You just can't sit and imagine without doing. A vision is not profitable without the doing. A vision is not profitable without the work. A vision is not profitable without the mission. The vision is not profitable without a plan. And all those things require some action. And if you're writing something down, then all it was just a dream. Yes, you must dream. But your dreams should be coming into life. They should be coming into life. Right? They should be coming into life. And so I just encourage you, don't be like me, don't be like me in the sense of go back, right, and apologize, go back and get it right, and then take some internal, reflection on how you are a person and what you're saying, right, and what you're doing. We were laughing about it, but I still think it's true. It's like we listen, we don't judge, right? And I say, no, I listen, I judge, and I provide feedback, whether you want it or not, right? So I'm not really judging you in that way, but I'm just saying, like, if you want to be able to grow, right, and learn and things of that nature, you must be willing to take some feedback, right? To take some feedback, right, from some people that, have, your best intentions at heart. Now, if they don't have your best intentions at heart, then you don't want their feedback. You don't want it at all. So we just have to make sure that we are understanding and knowing where we're at and be willing to grow in that area. Again, being honest with ourselves, having self-awareness in what we're doing. So, I just again want to encourage you to step out in faith, step out in really getting to know yourself. They say some things like, go do this by yourself if you've never been by yourself, or whatever the case may be. But only you know that. But I say really just kind of take like a deep dive into the things that you like, the things that you don't like, those passions and things that you're zealous about, because you can always tell like when someone really is into a particular thing, because one, they would do it for free, they would do it all day long, and there's excitement when they talk about it. There is just this commitment level when it comes to doing anything in reference to it. And so let's just stop doing things that someone told us that we had to do. Let me put it like that. Someone told us we had to do this. And you're doing it, and you've been doing it for years, right? And so who is it profitable for? Is it profitable for you? Is it profitable for the person that told you to do it? Who is enjoying the fruit of whatever it is that you're doing? So, you wanna think about it in, that aspect of things of like, should I or should I not be doing that? And although, what, my bestie did, it wasn't, say like it wasn't like this huge, big thing. But then again, it is, because I can see how this is fruitful, right? And how it has already multiplied, okay, into something good for the community, good for the overall people, in general. And so how I can tell that if it is, kept up, that it will be for years and years to come, until this earth is destroyed, I would say, that it could be. And it can actually, grow into something bigger. And that's when we have to look at things, right? Like when we're doing something, can it expand? Can it go from century to century? And maybe we can't think that far ahead. Maybe we don't have that much of an insight or whatever. But that's where the imagination of our childhood comes back into play. That child's play when you used to play and imagine things or whatever. I just believe that that's where we need to be thinking like when it comes to certain things, because it's just very unlimited, right? The child mindset is unlimited. They just believe whatever, the impossible, right? They believe that it can be done. They believe that cardboard box is a rocket ship and it could take them around the world. And they believe that there's this fat man who can, come down a chimney and bring them all these great goodies, once a year. And they believe that if they wish on this star, that these things would happen. And, it's just unlimited. It's unlimited. And so when you think about doing something, creating something, building something, a lot of times what we're getting is the impossible. And so rather than jumping and going out there, and I say go in the going, it really causes us to be fearful, and then we become stagnant, and then we go off and do something else, or we're looking at someone else and they're like, oh, if you would have just gave me that, then I could have did that. The purpose of seeing the impossible is to help us grow in our faith and to help us understand that we were meant to do life together and not apart, and that our life is not our own. That's the whole purpose of it. Because no, you cannot do it by yourself. It's too weighty for you to do it by yourself. You must come into partnership with other people to get it done. And as you're getting it done and you're coming into partnership and you're coming into relationship with people, then there is a spread of the goodness of what it is that this is for, right? And it just transcends from generation to generation, from community to community. Is that not how, our stores like Walmart came about? Or what about McDonald's? I don't even like McDonald's. But when you think about the story of McDonald's, I haven't watched the movie yet. I think it's on Netflix, but I haven't watched the movie about it. But I read about, right, how McDonald's became this, billion-dollar franchise, right? And why their fries are just so great, and then they're all over the world now. But it was just two brothers, right? Thinking about burgers and fries and milkshakes, and making it into a place where you can quickly get these items and go on about your business, right? And how someone came along who believed in what they were doing. That one thing of them wanting to serve their community, they had never thought about expanding it to other communities. They just wanted to serve their community. That's all they wanted to do. So again, don't be like me. Don't be like me on the sideline. You know what I'm saying? Don't be like me on the sideline. But also be like me when it comes to, well, not like me, right? Not like me. But make sure that we can quickly identify where we're wrong at and then do what's necessary, right? Making the corrective actions to bring harmony and unity. So that's all I have to say. So again, kudos, bestie. Kudos, kudos, kudos. And maybe one day I'll share with you guys what he actually did. And then maybe I'll bring you some harvest or whatever in reference to it. So, all right, everyone, we are out of time. And so hopefully you've learned something today. Hopefully you got something from this. Hey, hit me up at www.formosaic.com, or you can email me at info@formosaic.com. You can hit me up on IG, JosieRC_DOC, or at Mosaic Coach. I am here for it. I would love to hear what are you thinking? You know, what are you musing over? What do you got questions about? What do you want to chat about? Let's talk about it. I'm open. Let's talk about it. Okay, so until next time, do know that leading is teachable. And I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it. Peace.